Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. And yes, there was a technical error in the live just a couple of minutes ago and we had to restart it. But never mind, we're back, we're here. How are we all feeling this evening when it comes to the game yesterday? The game yesterday, which was when you go online, um, when you go online, why is there no. There we go, that's better. Just, yeah, that's it. Volume's fine. We're all good to go. Right, let's just get straight into the comments section. There are a few people online. See if we can get some of the comments back up. Yesterday, yesterday. I'm over it. I'm over it. We move on. We move on. It was shocking. I did put up a thing saying how are we all feeling after yesterday. When you look at some of the comments online, the other teams are thinking that Celtic fans are having a bit of a meltdown. All I'm going to say on the matter is that there's a margin between having a meltdown and wanting the best for your club and not letting your club die. We didn't let our club die. We saved our club. We paid the bills, and we moved on from that. We can move on for this. We move on. There's a game on Wednesday night. Hibs, there'll be a bigger Celtic support there, a bigger fan base, and a more demanding fan base, more demanding than 1,688 that was at the game yesterday. Let's just jump straight into the comments. Edward says it was shocking yesterday. Yun Sean says it's like having Kim Jong Un in charge of the funds. James Bryan says hail hail Baz. Frankfurt says hail Baz. Paul says afternoon Celtic fans. Oh boy says on to Wednesday. Daniel says come on the hoops guys and girls. At the Hibs game will tell us if there's any future with Rodgers. Hibs were garbage against St Mirren yesterday. And we all know that Brendan Rodgers doesn't have a great record at Hibernian when we go there. It's not a meltdown, it's just reaction to a poor result, says Chill Pill. It is that. The Huns have meltdowns. The Huns have meltdowns, and it's a reaction to dropping points. It's a reaction to dropping points after, and let's face it, we lost 2 games in December. Historically, we always lose 2 games. Well, we always drop 2 points in December. And I did say at the beginning of December, I said, look, we will drop points. I didn't expect us to lose 2 games, but then we kind of went on a bit of a run. We went on a bit of a run. We were playing okay. We've never set the header on fire this season, and it's always going to be difficult. It's always going to be difficult, but it is what it is. The players are playing shite, says Mayor of Celtic. We would never let our club die, says this board has let us down big time. Big Dom says the positives were yesterday, Kun and Ida. Yes, they were. And let's talk up the positives. These players were brought in. Brendan Rodgers said, I want to bring in some quality to help this squad out. Yeah, I'm reading comments here. Where was I going with that? Yeah, Kuhn and Ida were brought in to improve the quality of the squad. I definitely think Kuhn getting him on a 5-year deal has been probably a decent bit of business by the club. He looks as if he's a player that can play football. He's played at clubs where he's maybe never had the best of times in his youthful career. And Celtic's maybe a club that he could push on at. I thought there was some good movement for him, managing to take on players at the edge of the box, get past the players at the edge of the box. I thought that was a good point. And when it comes to Big Ida, I thought his positioning was actually pretty well, and some of his movement was okay. So I'm going to look at some Celtic news in a minute. CCV is the true captain. It's obvious. Slavin, you talk some nonsense on this channel sometimes. You come on to some of the other videos and I see some of your comments, and Cameron Carter-Vickers, captain material. Captains are generally players that play more than half a season. Cameron Carter Vickers over the last 2 years hasn't played a full season. So for me, Cameron Carter Vickers is not Celtic captain material. He doesn't shout enough at the players, and to me, you want somebody that knows Celtic inside out. A Celtic captain, a Celtic captain should always be. The Green Brigade travelled to Aberdeen with their banner yesterday. They must have been praying for a loss. That wasn't the Green Brigade banner. That wasn't Sam. That wasn't a Green Brigade banner that was put up yesterday. That was the boys Celtic that put that banner up. So before you go and shouting and dissing the Green Brigade, know who put the banner up. And the banner that went up before the game was from the boys Celtic. The boys and the Green Brigade are two different groups within Celtic Park. So just get you just correcting you on that one, Sam. Anyway, right. Sam, you're not a Green Brigade fan. He's maybe on the wrong channel then. Sorry, Brendan is now a yes man. And Cameron Carter Vickers is injury prone. Yeah, it is that. Right, let's get into some of the headlines that's kicking around about this afternoon. Because there's a big match for me I want to watch tonight. Is Real Madrid versus Atletico. Oh, the big battle of the two in Madrid. That should be a good one to watch, actually. Right, Brendan Rodgers. It has been suggested, even though Adam Montgomery, who went out on loan, I'm going to actually just double check something, just to check that this story might be right, because there's a story just come out about an hour or so ago, and it's about young Adam Montgomery, and it looks like the young player. His contract. That's fucking nonsense. It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. I didn't think it was right. I didn't think it was right. There's a publication, um, Football Insider have put out sources. Adam Montgomery increasingly likely to leave Celtic this year. Adam Montgomery's got a year left on his contract. Do you remember the likes of Adam Montgomery, Bosun Lawwell, and Ben Summers were all given a year extension, And this website has put out the 21-year-old's deal at Celtic is set to expire in June. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. See these bloggers. I'm going to Wayne Vigshire, whatever your name is. You're talking shite. Go on to transfer market and double check, because his transfer runs out. He got an extended contract, so it's a nothing. Just forget I even want to talk about that, because it is a nothing headline. And yet some of the Celtic media sites will pick up that headline and they'll run with it. Completely embarrassing themselves. Montgomery's injury, he's going nowhere. Yeah, he's got a serious injury. He's back at Celtic. Forces bored out. We'll talk about that in a minute. James Forrest to the MS, going to America apparently. He turned down 6 clubs in England. I don't know. It's only this is all because Chilpa. This is my take on it, right? The American window doesn't shut for another month or so, right? The transfer window doesn't shut, and reporters out there will do anything to upset the Celtic apple cart and put out bad news and try and get some headline information about a player that's going to do something. And if he goes, he goes. We wish him all the best. But Celtic aren't handing out James Forrest a 3-year contract extension if they've not got bigger plans for him down the line. And he's not going to jump ship and go to America to play a year or maybe 2 years. I can't see it. I can't see it. I can't see it. Celtic side that is full of crap. Yeah, I know. James is not going anywhere. He'll get game time. Yeah, you're right, Chilpel. Jamesy Forrest is going to be a one club man. Jamesy Forrest has won an unbelievable amount of trophies and medals and everything at Celtic, and I can't see him going absolutely anywhere. He's one of the guys he's your next. He's going to be the Danny McGrain in 30 years' time. He's still going to be kicking around Celtic Park. He's still going to be kicking around Celtic Park. He's probably still going to be annoying managers, and he's still going to be turning around to managers, and he's going to go, see all the trophies up there, all the medals, they're all mine. When you're as good as that, then you can have a go at me. That's going to be James Forrest in 30 years' time, still at Celtic Park and still winding up folk in the background. And yeah, even from Lisbon, I'm pissed off at all the panic stations. It's not time to panic. It's time to get a point across. At least the Green Brigade travel to games, and the banner tells the truth. It does tell the truth, Paul. It does tell the truth. And I take it there's a right riot going on. And the Celtic do not possess one quality centre back, says Fishing Stevie. So according to Fishing Stevie, Rocky isn't quality centre back. Scales isn't quality centre back. Welsh isn't the quality centre back. You probably got a shot there. I'd have thought Bruni have taken him. Taking James Forrest or Montgomery. James Forrest. Forrest Hearts will always lie with Celtic whether he goes or not. I don't think he's going anywhere. I said I don't think he's going anywhere. I think Jamesy Forrest. I've said it once. I've said it before. I think James Forrest will be one of those players, a bit like the one and only great Danny McGrain that still kicks around Celtic Park. Well, he did a few years ago. He's maybe not now. And he was still at Celtic Park when Brendan Rodgers was there the first time, and a bit like John Park and that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, he'll be there for years. He'll be there for years. We need to worry about him. Why is Palma and Abada still getting time? They're both shite. It says smell shite. The shite says James White. Well, we now have the Japanese players will be coming back because I believe that they were put out of the Asia Cup. So the Japanese players will be back. Will Dyson Maeda walk right back into the team? Will Dyson Maeda be on one side and will Nicholas Kuhn be on the other side? Maybe that's what Brendan Rodgers is waiting for. Maybe we've all learned that, look, Leila Bada, for as good as he is and as young as he is he going to progress? Is he going to turn into? Can he do what Jota did on the wing? Can he really do what Jota did on the wing? He is a little bit younger, but we will see. We will see. Abada Fanstock, he's worth a start. He's been mince all season. He's been injured most of the season. AR. He's been injured most of the season. He's only played about 3 games for Celtic this season. So I don't know how you can say he's mince all season, but you both have to say. Brendan Rodgers and where was that other bit of news story? Oh, Real Betis have scored. We fucking. Yeah. Sky are still saying that when it comes to the summer, they reckon Matt O'Reilly will be sold for 25 to 30 million. Anyway, the Celtic Exchange podcast. Never heard of that one. We all know that Matt O'Reilly is going to be sold in the summer. We all know he's going to go in the summer and for 25 to 30 million, and it'll be cash. Fair if you're looking at headlines today. Brendan Rodgers backs the Celtic board despite transfer shortcomings. And Dermot Desmond name checked for praise. Fuck off. When did he say that? Brendan Rodgers has refused to hammer Celtic board for the lack of transfer business at Parkhead. In January, the Celtic boss said there was only Nicholas Kuhn from Rapid Vienna in the month, and Adam Ida was a late arrival. He wanted to bring in quality over quantity. Sounds like a game show, doesn't it? You can here's what you could have won, and here's what you did win. That's what it's like. It's like the fucking bully's bullseye when they roll up, and you're thinking that we're going to get all these fantastic players, and it's like in one, and it's fucking and in comes it's fucking Adam Ida. Adam Ida. There we go. Anyway. The Dons will get a result on Tuesday. I believe so too. They always they always get a result against that mob. Maida needs to learn how to cross a ball first. Pepsi Mac. Leila Bada needs to learn how to cross a ball. Lewis Palmer can cross a ball. But there's a lot of players at the Celtic right now that need to learn how to cross a ball. And there's a lot of players that need to hit a bloody ball on target, because that is Celtic's problem just now. What are Celtic doing in training? I mean, they can all. Do Celtic go through the same training rigmarole every game? Maybe there lies the problem. I mean, Brendan Rodgers doesn't take the training, so this is all going to come down to a common denominator. And it's the same common denominator that was here in 2020 season. And it was the same common denominator that was here before then. It's the same common denominator that's been here for a while. And it's the backroom staff. The backroom staff at Celtic have been here for a while. And it's backroom staff that Celtic will not allow to leave. And John Kennedy is the one common denominator that has seen the highs and low of Celtic. So is it time that we start talking about what's actually going on the training pitch? Because the manager just picks the team, the manager doesn't take the training, and the manager doesn't do the training. And this was the same for Ange Postecoglou. Ange Postecoglou would turn up for half an hour towards the end of the training session just to see how they were playing when they were having their kickabout. But it had nothing to do with the training and tactics. Is that where modern football is going wrong? The time on the training pitch during the week is all about just retaining fitness level and keeping fitness levels, and they're not actually doing a lot of tactical training. Would that be fair to say that? Tell me what you think in the comments, because I think when you look, if it's the same person that's been doing the tactical side of the training for the last couple of years, I mean, it was fantastic during the Postecoglou years, but then it seems to have dipped under Brendan. So is it what Brendan's telling them to do, or is it the fact that they've changed it too much? Surely there has to be a point in the week where surely there has to be becomes a point in the week where they sit down, or a point in the season, and they say, right, let's look at what happened the two previous seasons, and let's look what happened the first half of this season, and let's look at the data, let's look at the information that we've got, and see what we're doing differently from back then. And then look and see if is it improved the players? Is it improved what was happening on the pitch? Obviously not. And then it's like, well, do we then go back to that type of format? Surely this has to happen. Kennedy is the one common denominator that's been there since Brendan's first time, Neil Lennon, which was a disaster, Ange Postecoglou, and then he's still there with Gavin Strachan. So maybe we're pointing the finger when it comes to what's happening on the pitch. Maybe we're pointing the finger at the wrong person. Maybe it's time for John Kennedy to take one of these job opportunities that comes along his way. There's been many that supposedly came along in his way, and he's decided not to take them. He's decided to stay at Celtic. Chilpel says, well, we'll still win the league. I think we'll still win the league. It's going to be close. You can't expect them to be spending the type of money that they've never really spent before. Well, they have, but we haven't pushed our dominance. We haven't pushed our dominance. We will still win the league. I think I'm pretty positive we'll still win the league. I think even though that we dropped points, we've only lost 2 games this season. Dropping as many points as we have in the ways of draws, it is a pain in the ass. It is a complete pain in the ass, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Right, let's get back to some of the comment section. And Chilpel says that he reckons that we will still win the league. Paul Boyle says, which one, Brendan or Lyle? Over the last few months of the season, it's going to be hard to watch, says Smell the Glove. Is it going to be hard to watch? Because you're in the running now. We're in the running, and it's the Celtic team and the Celtic players need to up their game. They need to up their game. They'll know, and for some players, it's going to be their swan song. It's going to be their swan song at Celtic. And do they want to be remembered as losers? Nobody remembers a lot of the players that left when Neil Lennon left and that season, because they lost us the league, and it's like, well, they're nothing. They're nothing to Celtic fans anymore. They're nothing. You move on with it. It was a joke, but sorry, it's an embarrassment. I don't know. I missed your first comment. Star Wars brainstorm. Yeah, like one point. Chilpel says the manager should be at every training session. A lot of us are sick of Kennedy. I think it's time for him to move on. Personally, there has to be a time. There has to be a lifespan of backroom. I've got to say this, right? I mean, I sometimes I look back over the Fergie years in the early 2000s, the late 90s and the early 2000s in the English Premier League. And Alex Ferguson used to change his number two quite regular. He used to change his number two quite regular. And why did he do that, do you think? Why do you think that Alex Ferguson would consistently change his number two? There has to be a reason behind it. And was it to keep the team? Was it to keep the team motivated? Was it to change tactics? Was it to change systems? Not really, because Man United kind of played the same kind of way the whole time Fergie was there. So what was the purpose of and it, it must have had some benefit because let's face it, Fergie was quite successful at his time at Manchester United. You know, and he never kept. We've kept John Kennedy now in the backroom staff for a number of years, and uh, Smelly Glove says for a new voice. Was it for a new voice? Was it? Wonder what the reason what that was. Barry Robson and Scott Brown, the dream team manager coach. Fucking beat it. Come on. That's like going back to John Barnes and Kenny Dalglish. Really? Come on. Sandwich boy, get a grip. Do you really think that that would be the dream team? Barry Robson and Scott Brown. Um, One, Scott Brown wouldn't work under someone else, and neither would Barry Robson. The two that would never work. Anyway, um, fuck's sake, will everyone just back the team? I think we're all backing the team. I think we're backing the team. Keep them on the boil so that they wouldn't get changed. Yeah, I agree totally. Brunei even a job on the training field. Now, look, Scott Brown's got a job. This nonsense that Celtic need to bring back Scott Brown, you need to move on for that. Scott has said, and he said publicly, it's he doesn't see himself coming back to Celtic anytime soon. He wants to go out and learn his own trade. Coming back to Celtic would be far too easy for him, and he doesn't want to do that. A bit like Paul Lambert. Um, Everyone's still confident about the title. No? Is everyone still confident? I'm still confident in it. It's Harry 501, Robson and Brown. It's like Robson and Green, isn't it? I can next they'll be watching Gone Fishing. It's Gone Fishing. Why do people sugarcoat this mismanagement of funds of players? We're not sugarcoat the mismanagement. We're sitting here and we're sitting. We can't do anything just now, right? What do Celtic fans do? And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and everything going on about let's protest. What benefit does that have to the team? What benefit does that have to the team? It does nothing. It does nothing to benefit the team. Celtic Park is a hard enough ground for our team to play at, right? And if we're going to start doing protests during games at the board, and if we're going to start walking out, for instance, that's got 2020 written all over it. It's got the 2020 season. Baz, did Fergie's number two not leave through pressure opportunities? Kid McLaren, Carlos, Portuguese guy left management. So he had to change. Yeah, but they were all. That's right. So he's bringing in number twos that he knows is good enough to be management, right? So we get back to the Fergie thing. Um, did Fergie's number twos not leave to pursue other opportunities? Kid McLaren, Carlos, the Portuguese, all left. Right. So that means that they were good enough to be management in their own right. Okay. So is John Kennedy good enough to be a manager, a top level manager in his own right? That's the question I'm asking. And if it is, It's time for him to move on, is what I'm saying. And it's time to get some fresh blood into Celtic. And it's time to get some fresh blood onto the training pitch. If it was good enough for Fergie to bring in top level coaches that he knew that, okay, I might only have you for 2 seasons, 3 seasons, that's fine. But he knew that they could help him get the best out of his players. A manager, his first priority is to bring in the very best. Our manager is not allowed to bring in the very best. Our manager does not control the purse strings. Our manager does not is not allowed to bring in his own backroom staff. There was a manager that went to Newcastle that wanted to bring in his own backroom staff, and he wasn't allowed, so he turned down the Celtic job. So there has to be some reason behind it, and is it to save the Celtic way? Is it to you know, Lawwell and Co? I don't know. Maybe Kennedy's got nude pictures of Lawwell's wife or something. I don't know. Has to be some reason he's still there. Maybe Kennedy knows that Lawwell's been cheating with fucking Angie the cleaner. Anyway, I don't know. Right, 15 games to go. How the hell's it over next week? Get a grip. People says chill pill. Recall Quan. Recall Quan. Now there's something. John is in the house. He would be offered the Aberdeen job if he was good enough. I think he was name checked for the Aberdeen job a few seasons ago. John. That was one of the jobs he was name checked for, was the Aberdeen job a few seasons ago. And I think the other one was St Johnston. I think it was Aberdeen. It was definitely Aberdeen. It was Aberdeen and maybe St Johnston that he was name checked for. That's the two clubs that I can vaguely remember of. Um, there's been a real Hun level of overreaction right now. Processing, says Harry 51. I'm just reading about what's going around online. Blame the board. Of course, we can all blame the board. Rogers, I feel Rangers. Sure, be a excellent player. CJ says the board have shown consistent failures, and the mask has really fallen off them. If you look at it, right, the board, pretty much the same people that's been in charge for the best part of 15 years now. And when it comes in, um, when the good news comes in, they're there, and when the bad news comes in, they're hiding, and they're in their little secret bunker. They've got their head in the sand. Did you like the thumbnail for the video? The PLC with their head in the sand and try to run out the recruitment office door with a bag of cash. Thought that was quite funny. Anyway, let's get back to Fish and Stevie. Duffy blamed the board for Rogers. Rogers came second when sacked from Leicester after his walk away, and knowing that the board Rogers bullshit. Kennedy is tracking caught DJ Khalid and Desmond at the dirty. Mr. Bombastic, getting jiggy with it. Yeah, there must have been something went on at a Christmas party that we don't know about. Ian Baz, I'm worried about. I'm throwing the towel in just yet. I'm worried, but I'm not throwing the towel in just yet, says Stuart. I'm not throwing the towel in yet. It's not over until it's over. Till the fat lady sings. Until the fat lady sings. And when is Susan Boyle returning to the scene? Then we know it's all fucking tits up. Brantford says, can you still help think about why we didn't strengthen on Angie's team? The board don't care about what's happening on the pitch. When you look at the money that Celtic have spent since Neil Lennon lost us the 10, we spent 30 million in Ange Postecoglou's first season. I'm not sure what we spent the next season, but then we've spent 20 million under Brendan Rodgers. So in the past 3 seasons, we've spent in the region about 60 to 70 to 75 million on players. Now, a lot of the players have been absolute garbage. A lot of them have came in for really cheap money in the hope that we sell them on. Some players were brought in for 4.5 million and were let go for free. A goalkeeper, to name but a few. 1888 CFC, it's over, I accept it. No, 1888 CFC, what age are you? Are you 20 or something? Have you never seen Celtic through a bad time? Lowell wants Sevco close. Yeah, but we all kind of know what Peter Lawwell wants, because if Peter Lawwell was Celtic through and through, I'm saying that he's not a Celtic fan. He was brought in by the Kellys and Whites. Remember, Peter Lawwell got his first job at Celtic via the Kellys and Whites. How he's still at the club is unbelievable. He's a bygone dinosaur. I mean, people are saying that Brendan Rodgers is the dinosaur. There's only one dinosaur at Celtic Park, and that's Peter Lawwell. He's becoming a bad joke at Celtic. But anyway, old enough to know we're fucked. You're 20, aren't you? It's all right, lads. Brendan will be away by the end of March, says Smell the Globe. I disagree with you. I disagree. Because after the split, we'll still have to play the top six, and then the top six will be them. We will not be that far behind them in the league. If that's going to be the position, he will not be away by the end of March. So this nonsense and this kind of talk really, really needs to stop. Really needs to. It's like 1888 CFC. I'm beginning to think you're a zombie, and you're going to get a timeout. User on it. You've just been given a timeout. You're getting a 5-minute timeout. There we go. You've just been timed out for 5 minutes for your negativity. And we need new owners from Saudi. No, we're not. We don't need new owners from Saudi. Look what happened to Man United getting in billionaires from America. They put them that far into debt that somebody then come in and then paid off hundreds of millions to get shares in it. I don't want anyone coming in from a nation. We've got two owners. I keep on banging on about this, but we've got two owners that stay in Scotland that own £27 million worth of shares. Is it time for these people to stand up and be heard? Is it time for those two gentlemen in question to stand up and be heard? I think it personally is. I think it's until, and there's someone just saying, nothing will change until Dermot Desmond has made an offer that he can't refuse, probably with the. He's already says, don't turn your pod into the Celtic view. Oh, I'm not turning it into anything. You mean the Celtic way? It's. Anyway, right. Let's move on. Let's move on. Can I undo his timeout? Where is his timeout? Let me just see. You can't undo a timeout. He'll be back in 5 minutes. He'll be back in 5 minutes. Anyway, right. Let's get to some more of the comments. Okay, sounds bad. Bit low. What? Joe, yeah, he was. Wonder if Celtic will deal with BlackRock and Vanguard financing. BlackRock or Vanguard financing? Why would Celtic want to deal with them? I want to buy them out. I've got 8 hours overtime this month, says Daniel Duffy. Yeah. Who are these mystery shareholders? Right, give me 2 seconds and I'll try and see if I can find the information that I had before. Right, a breakdown of the shareholders. Here we go. Right, is this the one? Right, here it is. I'll put a link up to it so you can read it. Who owns the shares in Celtic? Dermot Desmond is seen as the main shareholder, as 62 years of age. Is he? Jesus. Oh, fucking heavy paper round he's had, hasn't he? He's had a heavy paper round, right? He's. We'll go right to it. The breakdown of Celtic ownership and power brokers. First domestic loss of right, blah 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 blah. The boardroom, right? Dermot Desmond, the club's biggest shareholder, occupying 34.64% of the shares. So he doesn't even own 35% of the shares. Those shares are valued at £51 million. He's held a member a position on the board of directors since 1995. He is ranked the ninth richest man in Ireland, and he previously held stakes in Manchester United up until 2005. Next, second up, Christopher David Trainer holds the second largest amount of shares at 11.2% at a valuation of 16 million. Trainer holds his business as Forest Media Outdoor Advertising Company, reaping in more than 32 million from that sale. So he sold a media company for 32 million. However, even though the Scottish entrepreneur holds the largest stake in Celtic, he does not hold a position on the board of directors. Perhaps this is down to his own choice, even more baffling when you consider former chief executive Peter Lawwell, who is also a member of the board, Peter Lawwell only holds 0.37. He doesn't even hold 0.5% of Celtic. Next up is James Keane, who is the third biggest shareholder in Celtic. James Mark Keane holds 6.247% stake in the club. Keane is the owner of the Wooden Mill in Kiltrain. He is a big name in the clothing market in Scotland. However, like Chris Trainer, he is not a member of the board of directors, despite his large stake in the club. Next up is Tom Allison. Tom Allison holds 3.5% stake, occupying a position on the board of directors. He only owns 3% of the club, but he has a say on the board. He's held that position since 2001. He holds much more influence than Trainer and Keane, although they have a bigger stake. So, between them, it doesn't have a value of Mark Keane's stake in the club. Interesting. I'll just a bit more digging about that and try and see. Let me just copy this so that we'll have that for later. PLC here. Meet the five biggest shareholders. Oh, Hail 67, don't have a log about it. Hey, you just copied the other one. I was just checking. So, globally, it's Chris Trainer, James Mark Keane. There's an awful lot of guys who own Celtic shares since 2001, which is interesting because that's obviously when they bought over from the one and only Bunnet. Freedom of speech is the key because he's the front man with 34%. And right, let's get back to some of the comments. Let's get some back to some of the comments. Never heard of Trainer. I've never heard of any of these guys, and the fact that they're I'm going to go back to that original blog, onefootball.com. Interesting. First Trainer. Forest Outdoor Media, 32 million he made off the sale of that company, and he pumped 16 million into Celtic. If you sell a company for 32 million, why do you then pump in 16 million into Celtic without having an agenda? Or is it to make sure maybe he's just a fan? Maybe this guy is just a fan and he wants to make sure that no one person can come in and take 100% control of Celtic, about like the bad old days. And some will say we're already at the bad old days when it comes to the board. I don't think so. I bought 750 shares in 1994. Get me on the board, says Smell the Glove. How much are your shares worth now, Smell the Glove? I agree, there should be nobody should be silenced. Nobody should be silenced. What are you talking about? Freedom of speech is back. You weren't banned. You weren't banned. You were given a timeout. right? You were given a timeout. You weren't banned. See, you're back. If you were banned, you'd be gone into the ether. Huns get banned, right? You're back. You're back into the fold. You were just given a timeout. You were taking. You were dominating. You were dominating the chat. Anyway, right, there has been, there's been over 1,200 views on the video tonight. That's fantastic. Hail from the Dominican Republic. The board have to go. The board have to go. 1888. He's killing himself. Don't be doing that. Jesus. It's pretty bad. Anyway, what's happening with the subscriber count? They are at 15,077. Doing along nicely. Doing along nicely. Right, let's see if there are any more Celtic headlines out there this evening. Rio Hatate breaks his silence on Japan injury. Oh. Big Rocky sends defiant title message. The site hoops dropping points. Let me see what the Glasgow Evening News are saying. And Rio Hatate, according to a couple of the mainstream media, addressed Celtic fans for the first time in a lengthy spell on the sidelines. Hatate has been out since October. Ooh. Rio Hatate posted a picture of himself during the Asia Cup, and he commented, "I could not contribute to the team, and I am not good enough," says Rio Hatate. "I accept the reality and will continue to fight. Thank you for your support for the Asia Cup." Ooh, Rio Hatate. Was that on Instagram? Did I follow him on Instagram? Rio Hatate. Oh, I don't know who it was. Who knows? Who cares? Right, and let's shut down some of these. I was going to give you that blog for the Celtic shareholders. It was onefootball.com, and I just put that up into the live chat so that you can have a read of that afterwards. I thought Rocky Ida's desperate to do well for us. I hope he gets a start on Wednesday. I think he'll get a start. Will he play before the one and only Kyogo Furuhashi? Or will Brendan Rodgers keep Kyogo and play him just in behind, playing more like a 4-4-2 formation? I think it's definitely a formation that we need to play. But then what does that do to the setup of the team with the wingers, with everybody in midfield? It's an interesting one. Will Brendan Rodgers have the cojones? Will Brendan Rodgers have the cojones to change the formation at Celtic? Because that's what needs to be done. Will John Kennedy have the cojones to go to the manager and say, "I think we should do this"? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Paul Baird says play two up front on Wednesday is a must for me. I've been saying there should be two up front for absolute donkey's time. I said we should be playing 3-5-2. 3-5-2. Celtic should be playing 3-5-2 all day long. Their old ones, Baz. Are they? Scales and Rocky slow as a week in the jail, says Estepona boy. Estepona boy. There's a YouTuber down your way. He's brilliant with well, he's not really a YouTuber. He does. Well, he is a YouTuber, but he does. He's brilliant with websites. He's brilliant with websites. He's staying down in Estepona now. It's not you, is it? Nah, he's not because he's English. Bob the Minecrafter says Maida and Kyogo up front. Maida and Kyogo up front. Really? Would you have Maida up front? How much game time did Maida get at the Asia Cup? And Maida's final ball's terrible. We've been talking about all season about people. I mean, the manager's been talking about the final third, and Maida's one of these players that were in the final third that just hasn't been doing too well for Celtic. So does he have a right to walk straight back into the team? Tell me what you think. Just got to put it out there. It wasn't Kyogo's fault on Saturday, says Chill Pill. He just isn't getting the service. Palma and Abada are woeful. Woof. Woeful. What do you think about Kun? Cunt. I'm looking at Arsenal on the telly. That's why I said cunt. It's a cunt. It's a great word. Kun looks fast. He does look fast. And Maida through the middle. No, I don't want to see Maida through the middle because I think that Maida on the wing is what we've been missing. He's a good player, but his final ball. But then if we can get big Ida in, he's a big chap. He's a completely different player from Kyogo. If we can get him in, and he can do what Sutton used to do for Celtic and just head the ball down into little Kyogo's path, that could be absolutely brilliant. It could be brilliant. We need wingers that hit the byline and cross the ball. James White, you nailed it on the head, mate. You nailed it on the head. You all better prepare for the worst. 1888 CFC, you're going to get another timeout if you start that nonsense again. Yo, motherfucker, better prepare for the worst. Y'all gonna sit your ass down and start the park, and I'm gonna kick your butts, motherfucker. Anyway, 1888, what's wrong with you? We certainly need to change something quick. The football at the minute hasn't been good enough. It's hard enough to watch, says Paul Baird. Smell the Glove says, Maida missed the Killy Hearts defeats, and yesterday we win more with him in the team. Yes, we do, but as a player, he does have that pace, and I think that we've missed that. When you've got that pace down the width of that pitch, it then frees up the winger on the other side because people are getting drawn away. So it opens up the pitch enough. It opens up the pitch, and I think Nico Kuhn, the fact that he can actually take on players, the fact that Nicholas Kuhn can take on players and get past people, is he's a must. He's a starter for me. He was brought in on a long term contract, right, and he showed what he's got. I think he should be thrown right into the starting lineup. Anyway, Graham Hardy says Maida is the team makes the team click with his energy and play. 1888 CFC take a chill pill. What's he saying now? Hey, I can see what's happening. Why can't you? Oh, Jesus. Anyway, right. How long have we been on? We've got 5 minutes to go. Celta Vigo. Cadiz got absolutely humped again, I see. Let me just check these shows. Real Betis is all interesting in the Spanish football. Right, we are on a couple of more minutes to go. I'm just going to check for a couple of more Celtic headlines just to see if there's anything breaking this evening. Celtic could sell player out of transfer window. Rogers calls them brilliant. And fucking see. One person jumps on a story and then everyone else jumps on it. Everyone else jumps on it. Rogers defends Dermot Desmond's amidst critics. Norwich City explains why he let Adam Ida go on loan. Dermot Desmond, the centres. Why are people so against our owner? Why are people so against Dermot, even though he only owns 30% share of the club? Why do you think people are so against him? Anyway. We'll have CCV and Hatate and Awata to come back. Yes, we do. We do. And we sometimes forget about that. And I see a lot of people online saying, this would never happen to Ange Postecoglou. This wouldn't have happened this season if Ange Postecoglou was still here. It would have. We would have been worse because we lost Aaron Moy, we lost Jota, we lost Carol Starfelt. To then lose Rio Hatate, Abada, Cameron Carter Vickers. That's 6 first team players Ange Postecoglou would have been without this season. I don't think that he is good enough a manager to change what he did. He wanted to go out and spend more. Anyway, move on for him. He was in the past, and we can only push with the cocky of goat. Bring Mikey Johnson back, says Sam McGowan. Did Mikey Johnson have a good game today, or was it yesterday? Um, wasn't banned. Leave Baz alone. What are you talking about now? Sam, anymore? Did you get banned? Sam, any more of that, you'll get banned. It's Sam. Oh, God. Sam, you'll get a timeout. Because he doesn't care if we win, lose, or draw. How does he not care if we win, lose, or draw? I find that one difficult. DD is an absent landlord. That's why he's disliked. Do we really want right? See when you've got an owner that's sitting about all the time. When you've got somebody that owns a football club and they're sitting and they're spending 90% of their time on that football club, that means that they're relying on that football club to bring them in an income, aka the Glazers, right? So the Glazers were highly involved in Man United on an ongoing basis because it was a money making pit for them. Celtic is not seen as a money making thing. Do you know what I mean? You're not making vast amounts of money out of Celtic as a shareholder and on an ongoing basis. You're not getting 7% return every year on your shares. And that's certainly so. It's because he's a billionaire. Because he's a billionaire, says Benji. Of course, they want to win more money. I don't think it's about that. They want it's Brendan Rodgers still going with spin. Jesus Christ, it was a joke. All right, chill pill, freedom of speech, fight the power. Oh, Jesus. Well, you banned me, pal, for nothing. You banned me for nothing. Chill pill, Sam wants to bring Mikey back. That's why you should get banned. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, it'll be interesting. In the next couple of weeks or so, Celtic will reveal their interim results. You've got to remember the last set of results that Celtic put out, they put them out later in December, which showed the financial implications of last season. And selling Jota wasn't on that financial results, was it? Because it was after the season. So this financial results that Celtic will reveal in the next couple of weeks, the interim results, the half-term results, will show a vastly improved trading model, and it will show an highly inflated bank balance. The last set of results, we had 72 million in the bank. We have been in the Champions League since then. We have sold Jota since then. I'm sure Jota wasn't in on the last set of accounts. It'll be interesting to see what Celtic come out with. And if Celtic are coming out and they're sitting with a big bag of wad in the bank and we have not spent money on players, then is the time for punters to start complaining about the board on a bigger scale. Until then, back the team, sack the board. And on that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around the world. Good evening and welcome. That was brilliant.